How's it going? It's Devin with Ground Force Metal Detecting. I am here with the XP Deus II remote, and I'm going to go through some settings here that you might not understand. Some of the more kind of advanced settings to try to help you ease some frustration and around some of them that you might not understand. Maybe you already understand some of these. Sorry, just skip past that part. Maybe there's other ones that I thought were basic that you don't understand. Let me know in the comments. I'll make a separate dedicated video just for that. I'm going to power this on a while. Let's go. Let's go. So anyway, the XP Deus II, the first thing that everyone needs to understand is that there are 12 factory programs and then 12 user slots, all right? And your first 12 factory programs can never be lost. They are permanent, all right? You can play with them all you want, but the only way your changes will be saved is to save them in one of your user slots, okay? And in fact, every program on the XP Deus II is always based on 1 through 12 and then saved as a version of that in 13 through 24. Okay? The XP puts a program in slot 13 and 14 for you, which can be overwritten if you want, but they're good programs. In fact, I made a separate video dedicated to helping people put those back if they accidentally changed them, since you can overwrite those if you hit save after you play with those. Anything you change, even your user slots, you have to go in and save it, or when you turn off and back on, you're back to the last thing it was before you saved it, okay? Or the last thing you saved. All right, so the first thing I want to do here, let me power on, get in here. I'm in a general program, okay? Discrimination, not so advanced. I'm gonna skip past that. I made a separate video just for discrimination, okay? Let's talk about silencer, all right? Maybe you don't understand what silencer does, okay? Not the most basic program or setting. Silencer is a iron falsing mitigator, all right? So iron falsing is when you are detecting and get a high tone caused by a large or certain shaped piece of iron, all right? They have concentrated areas where the machine will be confused and think that the conductivity is higher than what it is. It's not. They'll think it's not iron. So silencer will reduce that. A high silencer value will eliminate a lot of that iron falsing. Now, just like everything else in metal detecting, right, there's a give and take with maxing out or eliminating a setting. So with silencer, the take is separation, all right? If you max out your silencer, you're going to eliminate a lot of the iron falsing, but you're also going to reduce the machine's separation, okay? Your machine will see a nail next to a coin, and it may mute that out because it thinks that it might be falsing. So you want to find a happy medium with silencer. Now, generally, as you see, general program starts at 2. That's kind of a good middle of the road setting. You know, maybe you want to go, if you're getting a lot of iron falsing and you put it to 2, 3, 4, just try it. You have to play with these and gain experience, but that's what it does, okay? That's what it's for. And if you crank the silencer down, and now it goes to -3 with the latest update, you will open the machine up for maximum separation, okay? But you're also opening it up to iron falsing, and the only way you're going to deal with iron falsing is by experience. Turning on your target, going the other way, raising your coil up, doing things to mitigate iron falsing, okay? I have a video on that. That's silencer. Okay, sensitivity, We're not talking about that. We're not talking about frequency. It's basic stuff. Okay, iron volume, that's part of discrimination. Reactivity speed, basic. Audio response. I'll talk about audio response real briefly here. So audio response takes the volume of a weak target, a faint tone, and brings it up closer to the loud, strong tones. Okay, doesn't change the strong tone sounds, only changes your quiet tones, brings them up, kind of squeezes the range. So you got loud tones up here, you got little quiet tones down here. You raise that audio response, you're raising the quiet ones. You're not raising the loud ones. You're squishing them together. And what that does is you can't tell the strength of the signal or your depth as easily. Okay? That kind of brings me to another point. Okay? You know that depth meter on your metal detector? Well, metal detectors do not actually have depth meters per se. All right? They don't know how deep a target is. All right? They don't have sonar or radar to look into the ground and bounce something off it and see literally how far away it is. They only have signal strength meters. So, you know, a strong signal strength on a depth meter comes up as a shallow target. Okay? Shallow target, strong signal. Could be something really big and deep. Same strong signal. Okay? A deep signal would be a weak signal. All right? Weak could be something deep, or it could be a tiny little target that's shallow, and that will have a weak signal as well. Hey, look, I smashed my fingernails. Metal detecting. I have a metal detecting injury. Prying, you know what I was doing? I had my hand like this, with under a big rock, trying to pry this rock out, and there was another rock here, and I was prying on this rock to try to see what's under this rock, and I went, and the rocks, and the digger slipped, and it went, bam! Smashed my hand between the two rocks. Oh, between the shovel and the second rock. And back to discrimination. Now, while we're in discrimination, let's talk about tone breaks. Expert button. I think you kind of know what 2-tone, 3-tone, 4-tone. You probably know what that is, right? Now, let's go to expert again. And let's talk about tone break settings, how you set them, all right? So, you know, each tone break on a Deus II, you've got 3 parameters, all right? You've got the actual tone break VDI, where that tone breaks. You've got your pitch of that tone, and you've got your volume of that tone. And that you just set them as you go, and you can go scroll down. Let's go back and go to 5 tones and then expert. Now you see my tone breaks there. I VDI of 10, 35, 50, 72. This is the general program factory setting. And as you see, my tone break number 1 is at 10. The pitch is at 202, which is a low iron tone, and the volume is 7. Now I'm in tone break 1. What did I say about tone break 1? That's the discrimination. Okay, tone break 1 is your discrimination. All right, my discrimination by looking at this is set at 10. My iron volume is set at 7, and I can tell from the tone break menu. You know why? Because in the settings, discrimination and iron volume are only shortcuts to adjust tone break 1. Discrimination and iron volume are shortcuts to adjust the tone break of tone break 1 and the volume of tone break 1. That's all those 2 settings are. Okay? And that's all discrimination is. It's an audio setting telling you what VDI I want my rejected tones to go up to. That's all it is. It doesn't know if it's iron or not. Okay? Discrimination has almost nothing to do with iron. Iron can fall in a discriminated rejected tone, and it almost always does. But discrimination in itself does not have anything to do with the target's composition or whether it's iron or not. You're just choosing the VDI that I want to go to. Set the discrimination at 95. And you're going to reject everything up to 95. Now, that's not suggested, but I guess you could do it if you wanted to look for only silver dollars. But, yeah, right. So backing out of that. Okay, so we're in discrimination, and I'm scrolling down to bottle caps. Okay, so B caps. B caps is it's for when you're finding a lot of bottle caps and you want to sort of not find them. You can raise when you're on a bottle cap, swing over it and just raise B caps by one at a time until you get it the way you want it. It's not going to completely eliminate bottle caps, but it's going to make them sound real sketchy and real crappy. So you increase that gradually. It's not going to work on pure aluminum bottle caps. Okay, this is for ferrous content bottle caps. All right, scrolling down to notch. Okay, notch. Okay, let's just say I'm discriminated at 10. Okay, I'm discriminating out, rejecting everything up to 10. But I also don't want to really dig anything from 30 to 32. Well, I can put a notch in there. Now, bear in mind that anything else that falls in VDI 30 to 32, good targets, are also going to be eliminated. A notch does not give you a rejected tone or display anything. It is ignored. Anything you notch out is just ignored by the detector. You'll never know that you passed over it. Okay, you can do 3 notches on this machine. Okay, and back to tone breaks. And we're backing out. Backing out again. Let's go to options. Okay. And you're going to have audio settings. All right, so let's select audio settings. First thing is going to be back to like the beginning when you turn on the power of the detector. Your audio output, you can change it. What your output is. Let's go down to audio type. Okay, so audio type PWM. PWM is the sound. Some people find it a little harsh, but it has the most information in the audio. It has the most nuances, the most blendable sounds where the high tones will mix with the low tones to kind of tell you there's iron. It's probably the best informational sound. When they say, you know, the XP Deus II tells you everything in a sound, you really got to be using PWM. Square tone audio type is I think it's made to sound more like MindLab for people that come from MindLab and like that sound and don't really like the PWM. So XP came up with the square. And then high square is just another variation of square. Okay, you can play with those. It's all personal preference now. Anything audio here. Audio filter. So audio filter to me is kind of like turning the tone knob down on your stereo. It softens all the tones. It just gives them a more softer sound, and not, if it's harsh to you, maybe try an audio filter. Equalizer. Let's select equalizer. Now you see there's 4 bands there. Now, if you remember older stereos, okay, they used to have the little sliders, equalizer sliders. This is the same thing. It's a 4-band graphic equalizer. Those 4 bands cover the entire human audio spectrum. When you see, you got 150K, 450K, or 150 hertz, 450 hertz, 2K, and 4K. The 150 hertz does not exactly correspond to 150 hertz tone in your tone break frequency. Okay, it's not the same thing. It will affect it. It will affect all tones because every one of those tones has harmonics in all the frequencies. Okay, those are bands that takes the entire human audio spectrum and breaks it up into quarters, and you're raising them up. So just play with them. What I do is I get a target. I get a good, clean, clear target, and then I play with the graphic equalizer while I'm listening to my target and try to get, you know, maybe I'll tweak something. Just personal preference. It's all personal preference. And let's see. You can also turn equalizer off. audio type, audio out. So that's audio. So now we're going to go down to settings. All right, in options, settings, and select. Now display, if I select display, it's just going to give me a backlight choice. It's going to give me contrast, brightness, and that's it. So we go scrolling back, scrolling down, diving, okay? Diving setting is for when you're diving. It's not the diving mode or program. Diving setting locks your buttons so that water pressure, if you are diving deep, cannot push the buttons. That's what that's for. Language is self-explanatory. The clock, self-explanatory. Profile. So profile is just whether you like big numbers, small numbers, or the XY screen, okay? Let's go to the XY screen. So I would use plus and minus under profile until it's XY, and then you just back out. You see the XY screen's kind of going crazy with the EMI, and inside the house it's going to, okay? And what you want to look for on the XY screen, and I'm going to make a video kind of examples of the XY screen to try to help people understand the XY screen. Lines slanted up and to the right, where the right side of the line is higher, are non-Ferris targets. Once it starts getting across and slanting to the left, that's now a Ferris target. Okay, it's telling you that that's a Ferris target. A nice clean line, straight line, indicates a nice tight pure target. Okay, a thicker line indicates a stronger signal. The VDI of the line, or the slope of the line, it corresponds to the VDI. So a flat line, slightly inclined to the right, up to the right, would be like a 99. Like a silver coin is going to have a very flat line and just sort of tilt it up to the right a little bit. And then as you get up, your VDI lowers and lowers and lowers and lowers until you flip over to the Ferris side, and then your VDI raises and raises and raises. But anything sloping up and to the left is going to be, it's indicating iron. Okay, it's indicating iron. All right, let's back out of that. And we're back to menu, options, settings. Oh wait, we have more settings to go through. Settings, select, we're going to scroll down. FETID, okay? All that's telling you is that when you hit a Ferris target, it's going to give you the target ID, or you can opt to not get the target ID. Go Terrain is the GPS app for XP that if you get that all hooked up and connected to your remote, you can use the Go Terrain app to track where you've been and at a site, and then you can hold the top middle button as a shortcut while you're detecting, and it sends that GPS and it sends your target ID to the app, and it'll mark where you found that and what the target ID was. It's pretty cool. I don't do it. Frequency scan manual. That just means you have to push the button to do a frequency scan. If you set that for auto, it'll do a frequency scan automatically every time you turn the detector on. Update is for updating. You'd have to follow the instructions for the updates. I have a video for that. Information is information about your serial number, etc. And back to display. So let's back out of this option. We're going to go down to program now. So program this is where you would save your program into a user slot, okay? And you just go through the menu, select program, okay? This is while you are in the program you want to save. You would hit option, scroll down to program, and hit select, and then it'll work you through how to save your program that you are satisfied with into one of your user slots. Scrolling down, pairing, this is where you pair coils, pinpointers, headphones, and back to audio. Now there are a few other settings. If we go up from general program, if we go up to gold field, okay, and we're going to hit menu, and you see the first thing is IAR. Alright, so discrimination in gold field and relic is different, okay. This discrimination mode detects iron based on proximity, based on how strong the iron signal is. It will discriminate that way. This is one of the only settings on here that I have used very little, and I can't tell you a whole lot about it other than what I just told you, okay? Some expert. What else is different? Oh, we didn't talk about pitch tone. So when you're in discrimination expert setting and you go down to, let's see, let me do it here. Discrimination. Let me go back to the general program. And we're going to hit menu, discrimination, expert. Now from two tones, I'm going to go 3, 4, 5, and pitch. So pitch doesn't give you a tone based on VDI. It gives you the VDI, but the tone is based on signal strength. So high signal strength is going to have a high tone, a low signal strength is going to have a low quieter tone. Okay. Pitch 2, same thing. It's just, I believe it is the audio response that is higher, but it's just much hotter. It's just a much hotter sound. It gives you a whole lot louder sound. I think it amplifies deeper signals better. It's a good tone. Now, bear in mind that if you like to detect and if you like to detect and listen for high tones, so it's like a 80 or 90, doesn't work on pitch. If you want to know the VDI, you got to look at a screen. Okay, this only tells you when you have a shallow or deep target, and it works well for that. I think that's about it. Pretty sure I covered it all. If there's anything I missed as far as features that are sort of confusing, let me know in the comments. Appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching my channel, and hope you come back. And hey, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there. Get some exercise and air, and swing away.
Let's go. Let's go.